used oil drips from within the flat engine. No one knows when the six-cylinder engine of the Revive the Passion Porsche was last started. Time for the experts from Porsche Classic to take stock. The engine will now be completely disassembled. The individual parts will then be inspected and checked for wear. And then we'll decide what new parts we need and what we can recondition. The 2.4-litre engine of the US Coupe developed an impressive 140 horsepower in 1973. Now, broken wires and a bird's nest are the least of its problems. Water has seeped through the intake system and damaged the cylinder lining. Minor abrasion marks are removed by machining. For everything else, the answer is Porsche genuine parts. We'll renew this. These stains are corrosion in the cylinder lining. You can see it's really eroded, so it makes no sense to keep it. After the complete restoration, the engine has to be in perfect new condition, and that takes time. For this amount of work, you're probably taking 80 to 100 hours, depending on how you go. There are lots of parts to sandblast and recondition, and of course, all of the steel parts have to be galvanized. That involves a lot of preparation. The Porsche 911T Coupe spent many years neglected and unused in Los Angeles. As well as signs of wear, the horizontally opposed engine in particular suffered damage through not being driven. The best example are the pistons. These need to be replaced because they're completely rusted. It makes no sense to reuse them. Of course, all the bearings will be replaced with new parts during the engine overhaul. Here, overhauling the carefully designed crank drive of the robust six-cylinder engine is sufficient. The intermediate shaft could be broken, and the crankcase might be fractured. Even the crankshaft could be broken. In some cases, there can really be major damage. But at the moment, at first glance, that doesn't seem to be the case here. The expert opinion is that this engine was never excessively loaded. The engine's mileage is estimated at 100,000 kilometers, which is relatively low. The durable six-cylinder engine turns out to be a good candidate for restoration, despite its poor external appearance. We're fortunate here to have workers who've been in the company for over 40 years. In other words, they know exactly what to recondition and how, what's worth reconditioning, and what's cheaper to just replace. Of course, we'll replace all the bearings. We'll clean the crankcase and all the other parts in the washer. Then the crankcase will be sent to Weissach for X-ray inspection. And then we'll start if the result is positive. Then the crankcase will also be measured. After that, we can start with the step-by-step reassembly. Some parts, such as a throttle body, for example, are no longer available, so they have to be completely overhauled. New throttle valves are installed, the bores are cleaned up, recoated, and then they're as good as new. This mint-condition 140 horsepower engine, coupled with the air-cooled Porsche flat engine sound, will give the Revive the Passion winner pleasure for years to come.